Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome. Hope you're having a great weekend. I'm Ian Douglas. I'm the author of the website Tech Interview Guide, and with me today I've got Rohit. Rohit, thanks for joining us today. Let me do exclamation point guest in here so everybody can get all of your
Yeah,
contact info. There's a bunch of links here. But yeah, Rohit, thanks so much. You're joining us from India today, right? What part of
yeah,
India
yeah,
are
yeah.
you in?
Yes. I am from Mumbai in India,
Oh, Mumbai. Cool.
which is come in one of the state called as Maharashtra. So I am from there, and I am like, we can introduce myself for the
Yeah,
afterwards. But yeah,
sure.
that was my city introduction.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. Cool. So Rohit and I connected on Polywork quite a while ago, and we were supposed to have you on the stream a while ago, and it just didn't work out. So it's good to have you back. So thank you for the flexibility to have you back on the stream. So I appreciate that. So today we're going to chat a little bit about career in like DevOps, maybe machine learning ops, and kind of what those things are. A lot of folks that come by the stream are typically in development, but sometimes have people come by and they're like, hey, what about this kind of role in tech or what about that kind of role in tech? And so I like having a lot of diversity in who I have on the stream to chat about what their journey into tech was all about and what kind of work they do and what
Oh,
kinds of
sure.
things they needed to learn and so on. So it was really great, Rohit, to connect with you and have you on the stream. So thanks for coming by today. So let's start a little bit with kind of hearing about your background. Like, what got you interested in tech and wanting to work in the tech industry? Like, how did all of that begin? Like, take us back to the very beginning.
Okay. Yeah, it is like one of the question I get most of the time. So this is one of the important question, like why take? So thing it is like, I was fascinated towards the technology and computers from the start only, during my school period. So what I did, I try to learn through my neighbors' computers, like how it works and kind of a stuff. So it was nice. Then I took the computer engineering, it's like subjects, and then tried to learn on the same. And then I come to the bachelor's of computer engineering. So then I studied everything about the fundamentals of computer. But thing was like, I was not into that kind of a stuff which we called as a DSA and competitive programming. So I didn't like that part. But when it comes to fundamental of building the stuff, like building the products and how you can integrate with the various technologies available, so that I got fascinated towards. So that's why I learned about how we can like integrate the tools, and I learned about the DevOps kind of a thing. So getting into tech was one of the thing which was, I had from the start only. But to manage this journey, there was various obstacles, like clearing the exams and not getting clear, and also getting the good college and kind of a thing, good university kind of a thing. So that is really hard in India. So I didn't got into one of the like prestigious universities we say in India, but I still managed to like come into the come into the tech, where I means like I'm into the role which is like only few people get into those. So which is called as a developer advocate. It's like Ian Douglas is also working on the same. So similarly, it is like one of the fascinating role everywhere, and you can work remotely and work through anytime, and it is really flexible. You can travel everywhere, and company will reimburse for you. So what more you want? So that is one of the kind of a job I needed from the start. And it is nice, like I can work on the DevOps and do the developer advocacy for the DevOps, so cloud native tools. So what I can expect more. So it is just my dream job. So that's what my journey about the tech, and we will get into this so in detail.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, so I had a bit of a similar path. I also studied computer engineering, and I also did a bunch of work in DevOps as well. I actually ran a web hosting business for about 7 years, where I was like literally racking my servers and setting up all the internet lines and doing all the system administration. And it was a lot of manual effort, back in late '90s, early
True.
2000s. Now
Yeah,
there's a lot
yeah.
more automation around some of that, but it was quite tricky to set up a long time ago. But yeah, I agree with what you're saying about like developer relations type of roles. Like getting to travel is kind of nice. Not everybody wants that kind of lifestyle and that type of role for sure. It can be pretty tiring if you're traveling like all the time.
True, true,
But a little bit of
true.
travel is actually quite nice for sure. I'm about to head back to San Jose next week. I just got back from vacation and turning around and packing and leaving Tuesday morning for another trip for a few days. And then I get back from that, and I think I'm not going to travel for a little while. So we'll see how that plays out. But cool. So you got
Yeah,
interested
that
in, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, yeah, that is the point, right? It is flexible. Like if we want to travel, then we can travel. It is not
Yeah.
compulsion for the most of the times. Yeah,
Well, some companies do want you though. Some companies do expect that if
yeah.
you're in an advocacy type of role, that you are going to travel on a regular basis. But thankfully, I think companies are starting to be a little more flexible with how people feel about travel and whether they want to travel or not. So,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah, good times. So you mentioned like you didn't really study too much around like what we call data structures and algorithms or DSA, and not really a fan of competitive coding. I'm also not a big fan of competitive coding. I mean, I did it a little bit. Like Google used to have this thing. I forget what they called it, but it was basically like a kind of a spread out coding challenge thing that you could do. It was basically who could get to these answers the fastest. And so they had like several rounds, and the very last round they actually flew you to like someplace like New York, and it was like the top 5 people in the world basically that could hear a problem and like work out the answer. They would actually fly you there, and like it was like what do they call it, like a
Google hacked
death
something.
match kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was really cool, and I was always able to get through like the first 3 rounds or so, but then it's like, okay, well now then it started getting into like you could only win if you really understood data structures and algorithms really well, but also if you knew compiled languages. So getting through the first couple of rounds, if you're using like a higher level language like a Python or a Ruby or JavaScript or something, like you could still solve the problem with those languages, but eventually people would beat you out because they're using compiled languages, which just generally compute things much much faster. Um, and so it was always really interesting to see, that the top people that were winning were in like Java, C++, like all the really
That
low level kinds of things.
last round competitors are like next level. Like how they
Hmm.
code and how they do. Like I respect those people. Like
For sure.
how they work on this on the small algorithms and how they build this thing. And to watch that live, it is like next level.
For sure. For sure. Cool. Like always on these streams, throughout the month of October, we're doing the giveaway. So feel free to follow the instructions up here. You can do exclamation point giveaway, and I've still got lots of these 3D printed kit cards that I'm giving away. Little model cards, basically. These are things that. Oops, this one actually fell apart. But this is a little Starship Enterprise kit card that basically you take all the pieces apart, and it actually forms into like a little 3D puzzle like this. Um,
Nice.
and so I'm giving these away on the stream. So get into the giveaway, do exclamation point giveaway, and we'll be doing a drawing in about an hour or so. So we're gonna chat with Rohit for a while, and then we'll do the drawing after that. So make sure you get in on the giveaway. Every daily giveaway is going to get you into the monthly giveaway, and one of the monthly giveaway prizes is a 3D printed Deadpool model that I made. So someone else made the model, but I actually did the 3D print of
Wow.
this, and there's no paint on this at all. So my printer actually does multicolor,
Nice.
and so yeah, you can get in some really cool detail on this. So this is going to be one of the
Nice.
monthly
Cool.
giveaways.
Cool.
I've also got a really nice Lego kit that I'm going to give away as well. And so yeah, definitely want to get in on that. So make sure you do exclamation point giveaway. Got a couple of people hanging out in chat, so make sure you get in on that giveaway, and we'll do that drawing in a little bit. So cool. So you got into more on the DevOps side of things, and when before we went live, you were chatting about like KubeCon and things like that. What kinds of conferences do you like to go to kind of network and meet other people? What does that networking look like for you in the DevOps realm? Like, what kinds of topics and so on do you need to learn in DevOps to like keep progressing your career forward these days?
Yeah, yeah. To be frank, in like Asia Pacific region, there are only limited conferences around the cloud native and DevOps world. So I try to get into those things like wherever there is a DevOps conference or open source conference or your cloud native conference, I am there. Like I just submit the CFPs. I try to organize my own. So I organize like monthly, that monthly or in 2 months there will be one of the event which will be organized by myself. So I do this kind of a thing. So what a
Cool.
thing is like, I focus on the conferences which is on the open source and cloud native tools and how you can utilize the same. So networking is something I get into the things by attending the meetups. So there are various meetups goes around your various cities in your country. So wherever you are, so there can be your cloud native cncf groups. There can be some days like kubernetes community days. There can be some aws user groups. There can be google developer groups. There are various these small clubs are there. You can try to build your own. So I have built my own community group, which is known as a DevOps community, and second is the MLOps community. So doing these things and organizing things and speaking at these events helped me to be a good public speaker, be a good listener, and also when I am interacting with the people. Previously when I was in college or something, I was not that much confident about the same. But now I'm like talking with like 24 to 25 plus years of a experienced person here sitting at this at the front of me. And as you see, like I can speak to them, and he's sitting at the another point of the world and I'm sitting at the another point of the world. So still we can communicate, and we have that one kind of a bond. We can do connection, right?
Hmm.
So that is the thing you will get through these conferences and kind of thing. So networking is a something which will help you to get connections. So one of the good point of a connections is like every student and every freshers kind of a thing is like how to get the gym jobs, how to get the remote jobs. So once you get the connections, then getting the job is just a piece of a cake. So you don't need to apply to jobs also. Like this kind of a people will refer you to those things. So that is the thing. There are various number of perks there. You can get the various goodies and t-shirts and stuff. But that is not the thing you should go on for. But thing is how to build your network, which will be beneficial for your future, and also your tech, which you want to get into. Or you can learn from these industrial experts into these conferences, like what they are talking about and what you can learn about. So I guess I answered
Gotcha.
some way of the question. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm a big fan of that advice. Like networking is going to get you a job way faster than just
Yeah. Yeah.
sending resumes and CVs and hope you get noticed. So you just graduated a couple of years ago, so you're still relatively new in the industry. What was it like applying for that first job and getting that first job? Like, how many sort of applications did you have to send out? How many interviews did you do? Versus like how much time did you spend networking and building up the community and things like that in order to get noticed. So talk us a little bit about how you balanced that as far as your job search.
Okay, okay. So thing is like currently students are doing awesome job. Like they are like they building the clubs from the start of their career. Like in the first and second year of their engineering, they are building the communities, clubs, and which can help you to get those connections. But during my time, like pre-COVID, there was people more active towards the offline things and not the online things. So pre-COVID, there was not that much noise around the same. So we didn't have that much noise knowledge. But in the fourth year of my college, I tried to get into those things. I built my portfolios everywhere. I was active for like 1 year, and after that, completely on these platforms. Means like what I did. One of the best thing which I can recommend you, like whenever you are learning, do it practically. So it is called as a learn by doing. But another part I will recommend, like whenever you are learning and doing it, share it publicly. So when you are sharing it in public, what happens? You are so one of the example I can give. If you are writing some Python script, which is help to create some web application, right? So screenshot that, share it on the LinkedIn, share it on the Twitter, or share it anywhere
Definitely.
you want, or create the blog if you are shy to send on the LinkedIn and kind of thing. So what happens? This is the thing which will help you to get noticed with your employees of different companies. Also, this is the thing which will help you to get into the like notice in the person like myself from the solo, or like Ian from the postman. So these are the things which will help you to get into contact with the same. And this is the person like Rohit is there. Rohit can refer you to your company. so you will
Hmm.
get the automatic referrals. So this is nice thing, right? Another thing, it is like if you are solving some use case, like you are building some open source thing, you are trying to get into this cloud native tools, and you are building some good open source contributions into the Kubernetes issue and kind of a thing, and I got attracted to it, and like you are doing awesome job, so I will ping you, right? You are doing awesome job. Can you get into our company and help us with the thing? So it is like direct opportunity, right? So this is the thing you should do. Like I would recommend always like learn in public, and it is the best thing. And thing it is like when you are learning in public, focus on the open source contributions. Like open source is the thing that you are staying in any corner of the world, you can get the remote jobs from the US companies, UK companies easily. So they are paying higher, right? So you will get the higher salaries just sitting at any country, which is like India or Japan or any country you want. So this is nice, right? So another thing it is like when I started into my career, so that time I didn't had that much knowledge. So I in India, what happens, there is something called as a campus placement. So when you are in the college, there comes various companies and they interview you. So that time I got some MNC with like low pay kind of a thing. So I didn't wanted to join some MNCs because they are like paying too much lower, and there is. But thing is like not pay was the issue. Thing was like they trail you, like work on this thing, which means like work on like calling thing, or they will ask you to work on like filling some Excel sheets, so they can ask you to do anything. So this
Hmm.
is the thing, right? You can't be asked to do anything because you want to be developer or you want to be focused in your technology. Like I am
Right.
fascinated towards the DevOps and ML background, so why would I work into that kind of thing? So that's why I joined some startup by applying to the LinkedIn and kind of thing. So whenever I was applying to the jobs, it was really hard. Like means it is what happens. We have to send the DM, like send the mails to the various people. We have to apply to the jobs. So I noticed one of the thing, I don't know much people are aware of the thing or not, but when you apply to the LinkedIn jobs like easy apply and kind of a thing, it just send you the automated reply like we have got another candidate. So
Hmm.
LinkedIn doesn't help me that much, but there was Monster, there was Nokri, there was Angel. This Angel is, these are the noise websites, and also I have checked various websites. There was like nice websites. So that's why what happened when I was applying. Also, when I was searching these jobs, also I shared these websites on the platform. Like you, when you are searching for the jobs and kind of thing, you can go to this website. So what I did, I built my own community named as a Trainings and Internships Keep Up, which is named now it is named as a Keep Up, but previously it was a Trainings and Internship. So when
Okay.
I was going through this process, I was guiding the students to apply to the jobs, getting the trainings.
Right.
Now this community has, I guess, 22,000 plus followers.
Wow.
So it is, yeah. So it is like it was just start of the WhatsApp group. Now it is like big community. So it is nice. Like if you are doing helping the people, then it will pay you in future in some manner. You don't
Mhm.
know. Don't
Right.
expect now, but in future you will get the fruit from it for the
It's
sure.
not a fast
So
journey.
do,
Yeah, I agree. It's not
yeah,
a fast journey
yeah,
for sure.
have patience and try to help the community. So community will pay you in many different ways. You don't, you can't believe. So another thing it is like after that I switched it to next job, and thing was like I got into offers of product based companies, some nice product based companies. But what happens when you are in the like Asia or something, product based companies will not pay you that much which can pay you remote jobs. So that's why I focus on the how to apply for the remote jobs and how you can do the same. So that's why I built the remote job roadmap also. Everyone, anyone can go and check it out. It is available for free. So what happens, I have shared the same things like you can learn in the public, and you try to attend the events, try to attend the meetups, do the open source contributions, because the outside startups, outside companies also want the same. If you're doing these things, they will really like if you are doing the contribution to their company open source projects, so they will see like you are already means aware of their database and their code base. So you are aware of the
Hmm.
code base, and why will they spend their money to hire someone who don't know anything about their code base? So you
Yeah,
already know, right?
interesting.
So yeah, so it is sure thing like they will hire you directly. So they will DM you. You can ask anything. They will pay you. So that is nice, right? So that's how it was journey going on. Like I applied to when I was applying for the Indian companies, I applied for like 100 plus companies and interviewed various companies and got various offers. But I joined remote job, and now I'm working in the US company sitting in India, getting the earnings in the dollars and spending in the INR. So this is the best thing, right? So yeah, that was my journey till now, and I guess it was nice, and it is not simple, but yeah,
Yeah.
we have to spend like 3 to 4 months focusing on the jobs kind of thing, like what the jobs need or what they doesn't need, what
Mhm.
kind of a things to focus on, what kind of a things to not focus on.
Yep.
So I didn't like try to get into the computer programming, but I tried to get into the open source. So that thing helped me. So
Yep.
it can be different thing for you also, but whatever you are doing, focus on that thing and have patience, because you will not get it in just like 1 month or kind of thing. If you want the good opportunities, good
Yeah.
bad
It's de-
opportunity and normal opportunity you can get easily, but when you want the good and really excellent opportunity, it will take time. So
Yeah,
bear with it and
it's
try to, yeah,
definitely
yeah,
not a fast process for sure. It's it does take time, and that's the unfortunate part. Like if you're looking for a job and you're in a hurry to get a job, that's the downside. Is it's not a quick process, but it does work. And
true,
so, kind of summarizing some of the advice that you gave is like do your work in the open, like learning in public, and I'm a big fan of doing that. Open source what you do, blog about your journey, but what I typically recommend is like when you blog about it, just say this is my journey using this technology. It's not necessarily a how-to guide. Like you're not teaching other people like this is what to do. I would rather see a blog of this is my journey, this is what I've learned, this is how I'm
yeah,
progressing in
yeah,
my
yeah,
skill, as
yeah,
opposed to yet another how-to guide, because a how-to guide, like everybody reads through those and there's millions of them out there and nobody knows which one to go follow. But if they run into a problem and they see a blog of like, hey, I ran into this kind of problem, here's how I got through the problem, it's like, oh, whether it's a Stack Overflow kind of post or a blog post. But I think just documenting your journey of this is what I'm learning, this is how
true.
I'm progressing through that, I think makes a big difference.
Yeah, that's what I did in the my remote job roadmap. Or what I did, I shared whatever things helped me till now. I shared there like this is my personal experience. So if you want, you can learn it from it and try to utilize on your own. Like it is not just some kind of a roadmap or something for like how to guide or something, but it is
Hmm.
something like it helped me in some way. So I guess it can help you. Whatever I have done the mistakes I shared there. So depending the mistakes and depending on the things I learned from the journey, it can benefit you if you won't take it. Otherwise
Right.
you can move to the second choice, like you can move for, you can create your own type of a thing, like how means like you can create something of your own that will help you, and you can share it in public afterwards.
Yeah.
So it is simple, like try to understand the journeys from the other people who are doing the working in the tech, because it will help you in some manner. So podcast is one of the thing, like it is the thing where various people come and talk about the various technologies and various career paths. So these are the things you can get the understanding of how the world is going on and how the technologies are coming up. So try to follow these things, it will really help you.
Yeah. One of the other things that I thought was interesting about your journey in tech is like while you were in school, you're trying to figure out like what is it that I want to do, and coming to a realization of like I don't want to do programming after all. And while you're going through computer engineering, realizing like, hey, I don't want to do the data structures and algorithms. I don't want to do competitive coding, but this aspect of it seems really appealing. And then getting into like the DevOps side of things, I think that that's an important part of the journey. What advice would you give somebody who, maybe goes through some amount of schooling, whether it's a boot camp or a full degree, and they go out and they get that job and they realize, I don't like this job. how would you recommend somebody pivot and say, you know what, I want to, now I want to go explore this other thing? What can they
Yeah,
do to sort of stand out in that capacity, then to go learn those skills to go get another job while they're still working at this other job that they're not enjoying?
yeah. So this kind of a question I get every time. So what you can do? So currently, what happens? People are stuck like which technologies to choose. So what I recommend. So if you are like software developer, you are like full stack developer, or you are a web developer, and you want to explore the DevOps also, you want to explore the ML also. So what I will recommend, try to do some projects which can integrate these things. So like if you are doing some web application, try to integrate some machine learning kind of a thing in same, like deploy the machine learning model on this web APIs. So you will get the idea, like you enjoy that machine learning part, or you enjoy that web API point, web API part, like web application deployment. So there will be web application deployment, then deployment, and when you integrate with DevOps technologies, like that machine learning model automation on the DevOps. So if you enjoyed that DevOps part, come to the DevOps. So thing it is like try to build the projects which can integrate these things. And whenever you think like this is the technology I really enjoyed and this not, so go with this thing, like whatever you are enjoying and whatever feel, you think like it will be something you can spend your time for like months and decades. So go with that technology, because thing it is like whatever will be pay or whatever it can be there, but you should enjoy your work, because when you are like in the future stuck with your job and you don't enjoy that work, you will be getting the stuck for like decades and decades. So don't do that thing. You have to go into the flow of technology which you try to is like, and I mean, like whenever you're working on this thing you should enjoy, because uh, it is like whenever you're creating the content kind of a thing on these things also, if you are not getting the idea on these things, so you will get the stuck in between. So similar kind of a thing it is happening here. So that was only the thing I answer every time. But other thing it is like whenever you in the company and trying to explore the other things, I would recommend go with some. There are various YouTube channels and kind of a thing. So free courses and Udemy courses and various companies courses are there. So go with something you think which is easily available or easy to use or free to use. So go with that thing and do one thing. Just try to get some basic idea from it. Afterwards, I would recommend go to the official documentation of any kind of a thing. Yeah, so you are learning the, take example of the cloud native tool like Kubernetes or Istio. So you are trying to learn it from the YouTube and kind of thing. Try to get the basic of it, like how the architecture works. Then go to the Kubernetes website and try to do setup from there, like how the installation work and how to get the clusters and kind of thing. So it is just, but because what happens, documentation is something where every people is spending their time, because it is open source, right? So that is the thing I would recommend you, and you can also you can contribute this projects also, right? So that is the best thing I would recommend.
Yep. So to summarize some of what you said is like learn some of the concepts from tutorials and so on, and then go read the documentation, and then try to
Yeah,
integrate that into an existing project if you can. But if what you want to learn is completely different, like I was in web development, now I want to go do data analysis, like that's a very different set of skills. But you could still take the output of that data analysis and build it into a web project or something. Or if you want to go from development into DevOps, like you can take an existing web development project and then go figure out, okay, well, what do I need to go deploy this, and what are some DevOps tools that I would need for monitoring and so on, and sort of find some way of combining those skills. Because in order to
true.
stand out to a company, like I can do this job, these are the skills that I've learned. You need to show them that you can do the job, and part of that demonstration is having some kind of project that you can say, like, this is something that I've done, and this is how I've exercised
Yeah,
these skills that I've learned. This is where I've learned it. One problem that I have with like go find a bunch of tutorials online is you don't know necessarily that you're learning the best practice for those skills. And that's why I think it is important, like go back and double check the documentation of, am I doing this the way that that company intends people to use this tool, so that you're not learning bad habits. I think that it's a bit of a dangerous thing where people go and learn from these tutorials, but then they learn sort of the wrong way of doing it or not the most optimal way of doing it. And then, you go get that job and they're like, why do you do it that way? You're supposed to do it this way. And now you've got to unlearn things that you've practiced and exercised when maybe that wasn't the way it was supposed to be used. And so I think it is important that that while you do find free content to go learn this stuff, that you are double checking with the official documentation and see if they have a best practices guide, that you're making sure that what you're implementing is considered best practice. Otherwise, you can, like, you're still learning the skill, but you may not be learning it sort of the right way or the most common use case kind of way because you followed one person's tutorial. And so that's kind of the thing that I talk about on this channel a lot, is don't ever just listen to my advice. You got to listen to advice from a lot of people so that you can form your own opinion. And it's the same thing when you're working with these technologies. Don't just follow one tutorial. You need to look at multiple tutorials and look at all the different ways of doing things. And then you'll kind of start to see, like, oh, you know what? That one tutorial that I followed did things very differently than these other three tutorials that are doing it this other way. Maybe I'm going to go with the way that the majority of people are doing it, and I'm going to go do it this way instead. It could be that this one tutorial was doing kind of an edge case, or maybe some advanced way of doing things, or a little bit different way of doing things. But again, I think it's important that you look at multiple tutorials when you're trying to learn something, so that you get kind of that broader exposure to that. I think it's important to just kind of expand your knowledge base.
True.
Cool. We had a question in chat that I'd love to chat about. So Henulek asked a question. I have a tech interview tomorrow, and in the job requirements, there are some technologies I don't know. For example, I was never in touch with serverless web development, but I'm trying to get a front end job, and I don't have any serverless background. First of all, I think it's great that you're putting yourself out there and that you're applying for the job. They're going to see from your background that you don't have serverless, but they're still willing to interview you, which means they see some amount of potential in you. So what I would say is, like, don't try to become a serverless expert today. What I would say is, like, learn kind of the high level concepts of, like, what does serverless even mean? Serverless doesn't mean that your code's not running on a server somewhere. It just means that you're not sort of renting the server like 24/7. Like if I spin up a droplet on DigitalOcean, for example, I'm reserving that instance all day, every day, perpetually. And so I'm paying, $6 or $7 a month for a server that just runs all the time. But I also have serverless functions that run as part of the email subscription. If you want to go check out the email thing, I've got a bunch of newsletters that you can go subscribe to. That runs using serverless operations. And so what serverless means is those are running just blocks of code where I don't have to have a server running 24/7 in order to go execute that code. It basically sees that incoming request and goes, okay, I'm just going to go run that bit of code that Ian gave me for this one incoming request, and then I'm going to shut that back down. And so you're only paying for the processing time sort of on demand, as opposed to reserving that instance all the time. And so that's the main difference. You could think of it like, am I renting a car, or am I like, getting like an Uber or a Lyft? Maybe not a great example because Uber and Lyft is also expensive. But like renting a car, for example, when I was in Nashville, I was going to pay like $100 a day for a car. To have the car like all day, every day for all the days I was there. Or I could go rent one of those little scooters just to go from here to there, and it would only cost me a few dollars just to rent that scooter as I needed it, when I needed it. And so I would use that kind of as a real world analogy of server versus serverless. Are you renting the car all day, or are you just using the server for a fraction of amount of time just to process a single request, get a response back? So that's how I think about serverless. But again, you don't have to become an expert in it. But I think just understanding the concepts of why you would want to use serverless over like renting a whole instance and paying for that long term, if you're just handling like little requests. And so on my email subscription thing, for example, you fill out a form on a website, it uses a serverless request to say, this person wants to subscribe. That serverless function then knows how to talk to my database and say, hey, go put this person's information in the database, or go retrieve it from the database to populate that form. And so I don't need a whole web server, web application, API, whatever running for that whole thing. And so understanding kind of the pros and cons. The downside is sometimes it takes a moment or two to kind of spin it up and get it active. Where if I had a server running, it's immediately active all the time. But the downside is I'm paying for that more money generally per month than just running the serverless. So there's pros and cons there. Sometimes the serverless is a little more scalable, where I'm reserving this one instance on DigitalOcean, and that's running in one location. I think it's in the New York region. And so if somebody over in Asia wants to hit that, their packet literally has to travel across the ocean to get to that server. Where with serverless, they can kind of spin that up wherever the user is and say, oh, there's someone in Asia. Let me just push that code over to Asia and we'll go run it over there and like handle whatever traffic it needs. And so there's a difference in user experience with that. So again, I think not trying to become an instant expert at that thing, but just being able to go into the interview and say, I understand the concepts of it. I've never actually implemented it. I think it's important to say, like, I've never actually done this in a production type of environment, but I understand the concepts of it, and knowing why you would use it over like a dedicated server or why not to use it over a dedicated server. That's all you need to learn to go to that interview tomorrow. Otherwise, know what you know. And I would say before your interview tomorrow, make sure you get a good rest tonight, drink lots of water, hydrate your body. I think that's going to like help because your body runs on sugar. Your brain, sorry, runs on sugar. And so make sure when you get up in the morning, you have a really good breakfast, and be alert. But if you stay up all night trying to study, you're going to be tired in the morning and you're not going to do well in the interview. So stop studying around dinner time and just take the evening, find something to do to relax, because by this point, you already know what you know and you don't know what you don't know, and that's okay. Going into that interview, my job as the interviewer is just to assess what do you know, what don't you know, and does that skill range fit what we're looking for on the job. That's our only job as interviewers. And so you don't have to worry about trying to become an expert the day before the interview. Just understanding the concepts is really all you're going to need for that. So hopefully that'll help you out. Rohit, any advice, like if you're going to an interview and you don't know
Yeah,
something?
yeah, yeah. So I wanted to add one thing, like if you don't know about this thing, don't worry about the same, because interviewer doesn't want you to be expert on this technology. They just want to like you should have some kind of a knowledge on the same. So just go and learn some basic fundamentals. I would you can go on the website of various companies which are working in the serverlesses. Check their documentation, learn about the some things on available on Google freely, like check like how the serverless work, how their architecture works. So just brush it out and see if like you are enjoying this thing and you can learn it. So this is nice, like learn about this thing and get the basics, and try to answer frankly whatever you know, because don't try to being over smart and go into the thing where you don't know about this thing and you are answering fakely, because interviewer doesn't want to be dishonest or something. They just want to see you like how much you are aware of thing, and how much you are comfortable with the serverless. So it's okay. And another thing I would like to tell you, like this kind of interviews where you don't know about the technology and kind of thing, but after the interviewer, if you don't get the selected, you don't pass the interview, don't get like don't get thing like you are not get means like you are not getting to the jobs and you are really getting hard to clear this round. So it is not like that. Various kind of jobs have various requirements on depending on that. If they get some expert on this field, they will hire them, right? So you will get various means like various opportunities. So daily try to apply like I would recommend like 10 to 15 jobs on various websites, and you like there will be like bunch of replies out at the end of the month or end of the second month. So just try to do this thing and don't get ever afraid of the things. So yeah, that was only my recommendation because I
Yep.
followed that thing. So I guess it can benefit in some way.
Yep. And I agree with that. And I dropped a note in chat too. Like you definitely want to be honest in an interview because, as an interviewer, I can ask different questions in different ways to really tell, like, do you really know what you claim to know? And if we catch you like exaggerating or lying, it looks really bad for you as a candidate. And so you always want to be honest with what you know and what you don't know. And it's okay not to know things. Like, again, you don't have to walk into that interview as an expert on anything. We just like that's our job to figure out like what do you know and what don't you know. But if you're over representing yourself or misrepresenting yourself, that actually looks really bad for you as a candidate. So
Right.
you want to be careful on that for sure. Cool. Well, I appreciate the question. Thank you so much for that. Also, if you want to ask a question anonymously, you can send a whisper over to the chat bot, and it'll show up in chat as an anonymous question. And I'm actually working on a hook right now that if you ask something anonymously while I'm off stream, that it'll push it over to the Discord community. So if you want to join us over on Discord, you're welcome to do that as well. And so any question that you want to ask anonymously, you can add any context and follow up messages. And it'll create a thread in Discord and it'll start posting those. I should have that code finished up probably later today, maybe tomorrow. And then I'm actually traveling for work again Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So I won't be streaming Thursday night. Just for anybody watching, or if you're watching on YouTube later on. Normally I would stream Thursday night. I'm probably gonna stream Friday when I get back. And I may do a stream tomorrow night before I leave, just so we can get some extra giveaway entries. So make sure you get in on that giveaway. Do exclamation point giveaway. We've only got a couple of entries today, so your chances of being selected are pretty good. Oops, just giveaway. Let's see, we got 4 entries for today. We have 122 entries for the month from 84 unique users. So definitely get in on that giveaway because we got cool things like the Deadpool bust and a Lego kit that we're going to give away. So definitely want to get in on that giveaway for sure. But cool. So Rohit, I mean, we've covered a lot so far. We talked about how to sort of pivot into other technologies. We've talked about how to sort of stand out to companies by learning in public. What kind of project would you recommend someone to build to kind of show that they know like the fundamentals of something? Like in the DevOps realm, for example, you know, like you've mentioned Kubernetes quite a bit. What sort of project would really stand out to a hiring manager in the DevOps realm? Like what sorts of technologies should I be using? How can I build a project around that if I don't actually have code to deploy? What would I put together in the DevOps realm to show that I've got an understanding of all these different technologies and how they work together? What would a project
Oh,
like that look like?
yeah. So one of like I have built various projects in this domain, and I can really guide you on this thing. So I hope I can answer you this question because I just want to make the thing like I want to get like I have followed this way. I built these projects, and projects is the only thing which helped me to get into contact with the various connections. So what happened? I tried to build projects on this thing, right? So in the DevOps, that is like that is first thing is it is like programming. Then it is Linux scripting. Then there is networking fundamentals. Then you should know the containers. You should know about the orchestration, and then pipelines, CI/CD, and after that infrastructure as a code, cloud, and also monitoring. So what I did, I built some application pipeline. So some like application deployment pipeline. So what happens? There will be some program, and that program scripting will be inside the Jenkins pipeline. So CI/CD will be there, and that program will come through the GitHub. So what happens? Program, the provisioning, it is coming from GitHub, right? So the provisioning. After that, the CI/CD is Jenkins. After that, what happens in Jenkins, there will be some Docker file to get this like container running. So you are knowing the containers also, and to scale that container you are adding the Kubernetes inside the same. So you have like 5 technologies added, so 5 tools are added. After that we will add some build pipeline at the end, so you have the monitoring also. So if you do this thing only, these 6 things in just one project, I can guarantee you like it covers the most of the DevOps world. So what happens? You are building something where you are covering small aspects of the various things. I would not recommend only like creating this one project. What happens? It will be something whenever you are building, you will get so many errors. So depending on that errors, you will try to learn on the thing, and you will get to the different types of projects, like how can you build this thing with just a Docker Swarm or Docker. And the thing is like you just can build it just by Docker and Kubernetes, and how you can build, so you can add some open source tools into this thing. So when you are doing this project, you will get idea about like how you can integrate with these things and all. So I would recommend go with the GitHub repository, which I means like I created that, where everyone can come up and share the resources and on the same. So it is known as a github.com/DevOps community. So there are various resources around the DevOps, like how can you learn, how you can contribute to the same, and which are the open source projects which can help you to get the remote jobs and kind of thing. So it is nice. You can go check it out, and there are projects also. I have shared, I guess, around like 40 or 50 plus projects are there, and step by steps information is given on. So go and check it out.
So part of building up that pipeline, if I understand kind of what you're saying, is like literally go find any GitHub project, and then figure out like all these other tools to like put it in a CI/CD pipeline, learning that infrastructure as code, and like building out that whole thing of like just go take this project and go put it online, and all of the different things, especially with monitoring and tooling like that. Is that sort of what you're recommending, or is there like
No,
a
no, it
specific
is,
project?
yeah, it is some project where you are pushing your code from
Right.
your
So
local
so so
system.
I'm asking from a perspective like somebody's not in programming, but they want to do like a DevOps sort of project. So like learning Jenkins, learning infrastructure as code, learning deployment, learning CI/CD and monitoring, like those are all fine. But like, what if they're not a programmer and they don't have like a web project to actually go deploy? What should they do? So learning all those individual technologies is fine, but like how do they go find like somebody else's project and go deploy that and say, because that's really what they're
Okay.
going to be involved with on the job is they're going to be
Yeah.
taking code from another team and figuring out how do I deploy it, how do we do
Mhm.
monitoring and so on. That's more what I'm trying to get at, like what sorts of tools and then how do they put their stuff together as a project, whether it's a single GitHub repo that or like a bunch of Docker containers that they can put into a repo to say, here's how to do all these things, and I just I grabbed this random GitHub project and I've got it deployed and it's up and running. You can verify it here, and these are all the things that I learned in that process, just to show their experience in DevOps to go deploy something where they're not a programmer, so they haven't done like a whole web app themselves, but they still want to show proficiency in DevOps or that they're interested in doing DevOps. How do they find a project that they can go deploy? And then like what do they need to do to actually go push that live? That was more what I
Yeah.
was trying to
So
get at with the question.
yeah. So that's what I recommended. Like go into that repository I recommended. So that github.com DevOps community. There are
Okay.
various projects in the same thing, like how you can do without having any knowledge from the developer kind of thing. So when you try to build it from basics, it is blocks kind of a step by step. Everything is there. So try to refer that and build it on your own. And whenever you're building it on your own, if you have errors, you can reach out to me anytime. You have my handles also, right? So share it on the public also, like you can tag me or you can do anything. So I will reply for the sure, and whenever you are getting the error. Otherwise, if you get successful in creating entire project and kind of a thing, like fluent, like you can show it to your resume, and you can add it to your portfolio. All the best. Go with the share. Yeah.
Okay. So just github.com/DevOps community. It basically points to a single like manifesto kind of repo. So I've posted those in chat that you can follow, and they've got a whole bunch of stuff on there about how to participate and get involved and so on. There doesn't seem to be many links on there as far as like how to actually get involved. Like there's no link on there like here's how to get to our community. So I don't know if I've got the right link. Can you share that with me on either Polywork or just in the Video Ninja, just so I can make sure that I'm pasting the right link. Because I found github.com/DevOps community. Um, but there's only a single repo there, and there's not a lot of activity on it. So I'm not sure if I'm in the right spot. Oh, one sec, I can't hear you for some reason. Sec. Can you try speaking again, Rohit?
Yeah, can you
There
hear
we go.
me?
Yep, there we go.
Yeah, yeah. So I have shared you the link on the Polywork, right? So you can
Okay.
copy paste it. Yeah,
Oh, okay. Sorry, it was on your GitHub,
yeah,
not
yeah.
a public
That's
one.
it.
Okay. Yep.
So it was
So
my
go.
mistake, not.
No, no, no worries, no worries. So yeah, Henulek, good luck with the interview tomorrow around serverless and so on. Sounds like that's only part of the interview that you're going to be doing tomorrow. So best of luck to you. Hope it goes great. It's later in the afternoon. I would say like still get up, have a good breakfast, and then just review notes of things that you've already studied. But don't try to go learn anything new, because things that you kind of cram into your brain at the last minute, while it's okay if you have really strong short-term memory, ultimately it's gonna like they're gonna ask different questions and you're probably gonna forget things, and so try not to rely too much on like last minute cramming and just review things that you've already learned and be really good at answering those questions, especially behavioral questions and technical questions depending on the kind of interview or the duration of the interviews that you're doing, but trying to learn something like entirely new right before the interview is risky for sure. Cool. Yeah, that link that you shared, Rohit, looks much more promising than the one that I originally posted. So yeah, being a part of a community is really important, and just asking in the community, like, hey, I want to get into this. How do I do it? I'm not a programmer. Like, what can I do to stand out? What kind of project should I do? And one advice that I give on the channel quite a lot is whatever project that you're promoting on your resume or on your CV should show the fundamentals of this is what I know. This is like these are the kind of the foundational building blocks of what I should know in this role. Here's how I practice them. Here's how I put all this stuff together in a project. I think that those are the really important things to show in whatever project that you're promoting the most on your resume to say, I can do this job. And so understanding like what is that expectation and how do we sort of take that expectation and build that into a project so that I can show an employer like this is the value that I bring. I understand kind of these sort of building blocks. I think that that's the important thing to sort of get across there. Awesome, cool. All right, well, we're coming up on the hour. Rohit, any other topics, any other things that you want to dive into? Anything else that you want to share um, around like interview advice or
There are
career
there are
advancement, anything like that?
yeah, there are lots of issues, like there are lots of things we can discuss on, but I guess we are like past the 1 hour, so we can discuss it in next time, on
Sure.
next blog or something, next podcast. So invite me, I am free to chat on the various things. We have just created small, means like we have talked on the small things and like how, but it is like one of the important things. But if you want to make it more technical kind of a thing, we can talk on the same also. If you want to talk on more on the MLOps side, and if you want to more talk on more on the cloud native tools on the side, open source kind of a things, so we can talk about the same also. We can show some kind of a demo also. Let us know on the comments and we can chat on the same.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I'll be putting all these links in the YouTube description when I put this up on YouTube later. Ms. Peeps followed up with a really good question, and I want to make sure that we address this. They say my biggest concern is with my ADHD. My knowledge recall on the spot during an interview, it kind of empties out, and recall isn't great. But I can recall everything if I'm not like on the spot and have to answer things. So a lot more companies are asking during the application phase if you need some kind of accommodation like that. And I think it's okay to be able to ask for those kinds of accommodations. And you can definitely talk to recruiters at companies about like what's the best way to sort of relay that knowledge. I think though that a lot of what we do as developers, like the idea of our interview is that we have to demonstrate our skill, And some of that is going to be knowledge recall because they want to know like, hey, if I give you a task to do, you've got the knowledge or you know where to find that knowledge in order to go do the job. And so I think some of what we do as developers or in DevOps or machine learning ops, as Rohit just mentioned, we still have to be able to recall some amount of those fundamentals in order to get through the interview. But I would say definitely reach out and talk to the recruiter and say, hey, you know what? This is my situation. I'm going to need some accommodation on this. I don't really do well on live interviews where it's high stress. Is there any kind of accommodation that can be done for that? I think companies are becoming a lot more sensitive to those needs and those kinds of accommodations. Not every company will, but I think the worst you can do is ask and they'll say no, at which point you're going to have to do your best. But aside from that, I can't really give too much advice about like what exactly to do in that scenario. But um, aside from just ask the interviewer or ask the recruiter at the company for some kind of accommodation and just say like, I don't interview well. I don't do really well under high stress interrogative type of interviews. Like if it's more conversational, then I tend to do better as far as demonstrating my skill and demonstrating my knowledge. But I would say ask for that accommodation. I think companies are more willing, especially when they find a good candidate or someone that they believe could do the job. I think they're a lot more willing to sort of work with you because they're going to be working with you day to day. And if they get on a Zoom call and they'll be like, hey, I need to know about such and such, you're going to need to be able to recall some of that. Like, hey, Ms. Meeps, you wrote this block of code. Like, can you remind me what this piece of code is actually doing? You're going to need to be able to recall that and be able to explain that or why you did things a particular way. That's just the nature of the job. And so I would say, as long as it's something that you're really comfortable with, um, you know, there should be some level of I've done this enough times that it's not really a problem. Like most interviews aren't going to get into like the really obscure sort of trivia knowledge, like, you know, how does Python actually implement dictionaries under the hood or something like that. Like most interviewers aren't going to go into that level of depth. And so I think you can certainly ask for accommodation on that. So yeah, definitely ask. The worst they'll say is no and say like, no, like we really need to kind of be fair to all interviewees and things like that and do them all the same. And that's fine. That's their prerogative. But I think that you can still ask and see what they can do for you there. All right, cool. Well, we're coming up on the hour, so I think Rohit will let you go. Unless you want to stick around and we're just going to do the giveaway and I'm going to chat a little bit more about the monthly giveaway that we're doing. So it's up to you, Rohit, if you want to stay on the call. It's totally up to you.
Sure, sure. You can have your giveaway. You can have fun. I
All
will
right.
go get dinner. Happy Diwali to everyone from India. Have fun. Yeah.
Yep. All right.
Thank
Well,
you.
thanks again for your time today, Rohit, and we'll chat again soon.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Cheers. All right. Well, thanks to Rohit for spending some time with us today. Very, very much appreciated. So we'll do one more exclamation point guest. So here's some links where you can stay in touch with Rohit if you like. He's got his LinkedIn profile on there. He's got his Twitter handle if you want to stay in touch over Twitter. Cool. And thanks for changing up the nano leaf lights. I'm glad that worked. Been having all kinds of technology issues here at home, and so I think right after this stream, I actually might wipe this computer and like start all over again. Um, part of what I'm going to be working on for the remainder of the year is actually not so much a rebrand, but kind of like a new look and feel for the stream, as far as like how can I integrate more of um, like the lights and kind of the interactions and maybe change up the background and so on. Been using this background with the hexagons for a while. I've got a new background that I want to use, which is more bright, so it'll be a more light theme. But I may try and come up with a dark theme one. So maybe the Sunday morning it'll be kind of the white theme, and then the one that I do Thursday night it'll be more of a dark theme. I don't know. We'll see. We might do some polls and see what people think around light theme versus dark theme. But yeah, I think we'll go through and we'll do our giveaway, and then we'll kind of chat a little bit more about giveaways and things like that. So if you have not already entered the giveaway, definitely get in there. So Hanulak, get in on that giveaway as well. We got a bunch of people hanging out in chat, so make sure you follow these directions up here. So exclamation point giveaway. I'm sending these little kit cards around the world. I'm actually assembling the Deep Space Nine model right now, and so these kit cards basically just come in something that looks like this. Well, actually, that one fell apart, so I'll show you this one instead. So we got these 3D model gift cards that I've been printing out. I've got Star Wars, I've got Star Trek, I've got holiday themed ones, which are things like snowflakes and so on. I've actually packaged up and sent out most of them, but I am printing more. And but we've also got fun little things like if you want a catapult, there's like a whole kit card just to make a 3D printed catapult. If you have a dog or a cat and you like to fling treats for them to go chase, that's lots of fun. So we've got toys, we've got holiday themed kit cards, and then we've got Star Wars and Star Trek. So get in on that giveaway. Every entry into the giveaway is going to give you an entry into the monthly giveaway. And one of the things that I'm giving away is this 3D printed Deadpool. And let me switch over to this one for a sec. So here's the Deadpool. And this is all 3D printed. There's no paint anywhere on this. This is all 3D printed, multiple colors of plastic. There's an Eastman.xyz. That's the person that made this model. And this took about 4 days to print. This is about a pound of filament. And so we'll have this as part of our monthly giveaway. Sorry, when I switch back here, it like empties out the chat over here on the interface. But yeah, definitely do exclamation point giveaway. Get in there. And so I've got that. I've got a Lego kit that I'm gonna pick out, and then yeah, we'll have that giveaway on November 1st. So every time you come by the stream and do exclamation point giveaway, it's giving you another entry into the monthly giveaway. So when you do bang giveaway, it said, good luck. You've got, the entry for today, and you have this many total entries. You can also do exclamation point entries if you want to see how many total entries that you've got. If you're not sure, then you can do exclamation point entries, and it'll tell you how many. But yeah, a lot of the models are pretty straightforward to put together. So this is one that started falling apart, so I figure I'll just put that one together. It's one of the enterprise models. And most of them are pretty straightforward. Some of them come with instructions, and basically when I mail these out, I basically just email you the links to where to find the instructions on how to assemble them. But like I said, most of them are pretty straightforward. There's only a couple of parts, and so there's not too much to worry about as far as like tiny little parts. Most of them are decent sized enough, but either way, if you've got like little kids, you probably want to be careful that they're not going to like try and eat the model or something like that. So I wouldn't recommend these for little children. But if you're a fan of Star Wars or Star Trek, you can definitely get in on some of these. I've actually got, I need to go get this one. I'll be right back. I want to show this one off. One of the models that I 3D print is a land speeder from Star Wars. And I found a really cool multi-metal sort of thing. So you can actually see like down here, it's a slightly different shade of the metal than what printed like up here. So you get, kind of this really cool sort of effect of like different colors and so on as you build out the model. So again, we got Star Wars, and we got things like Millennium Falcon and X-Wings and Y-Wings and B-Wings and A-Wings and things like that. Or we've got Star Trek. And for Star Trek, we've got a couple of different models of the USS Enterprise. We have both the original series Enterprise as well as the new like Model D Enterprise. This one's missing a part, but got the Model D Enterprise. So if you're more next generation fan, and basically I've been sending out like a couple of kits. So if you're the recipient, you'll get like probably 2 or 3 of these, whatever I can fit in the envelope. And I'm sending those all over the place. So feel free to get in that giveaway, and then we'll do that drawing here very shortly. What do you think about the quote from Happiness Pursuit? Can I say something? I'm the type of person, if you ask me a question, I don't know the answer, I'm going to tell you that I don't know. But I bet you what, I know how to find the answer, and I will find the answer. There is value in that in the interview to say like, I don't know the answer, but I know where to go find it. In the interview, though, again, their job as the interviewer is to figure out what you know and what you don't know, like what you already know and what you don't know. That's their job as the interviewer. So yes, there is value in saying like, I don't have the answer to that. I think it's important to be honest in the interview to say when you don't have an answer to something. I'm a big believer in honesty. I know some people aren't, and I know other people that are like, for example, if you get asked a question in an interview multiple times, do you own up to it and say, oh, you know what, so and so just asked me that like earlier, or do you just say like, oh yeah, I totally know the answer to that, because you've actually already given that answer. We did that at one company as a check for how honest you were as an individual. And we did that kind of on purpose because one of the attributes that we looked for as a company was honesty. And so we would actually do that as our test for how honest are you going to be as an employee? Like, can we trust you if you say you know something or if you say you don't know something, and then we ask you later on and you say, oh yeah, now I know the answer to that. We want to know, like, are you being honest or are you just gonna, pretend like you knew it all along? And so those are things that we would check for at that particular company. Now, some people look at that and go, well, that's kind of a shady thing to do as a company because you're kind of setting your interview candidate up for failure in that regard. But sorry, I'm just going to be off camera here for 1 sec. There it is. They would say, well, are you setting up a candidate for failure by sort of pretending like you didn't already ask them that question versus asking them a question again? Like, is that kind of a shady thing to do in an interview? And for us, it was more because we would actually phrase it like, oh, have you heard about this kind of thing before? And just check like, oh yeah, so and so and I talked about that earlier, because our interviews went like most of the day back then when I worked at that company. We would spend like a good portion of the day with the candidate because we really wanted to get to know them. We really wanted to get to know like what was their work ethic and how did they work as part of a team and all that kind of stuff. So it was important to us that we could understand who the person was and that we trusted working with them. But some people look at that kind of thing and go, well, that's kind of shady. It's a kind of a nonsense thing to do. So there's the model enterprise and just put together. Just like this other model enterprise that I put together and showed earlier. So, different colors of filament, things like that. But I think it's important to say when you don't know something. I think that's always important, is always say like, I don't know the answer. Knowing that you know how to go find the answer, I think is okay too. But a lot of people are going to say that in an interview. And so I think it starts to lose value to the interviewer by saying like, I know how to go find the answer. As an interviewer, if somebody were to give me that as a response, I would be asking them for their process and say, cool, tell me what you would do to go find that answer. Like what would it actually look like for you to go find that answer? Because I want to know what your process is to go find that answer. Like, are you just, I'm going to do a Google search is kind of the default answer that a lot of people give. It's like, okay, well, a Google search is fine, but like, what are you going to Google? How are you going to determine whether an answer is a good answer or not? Hey, Daddy, was it good to see you? Thanks for dropping by. Like, how do you as a candidate evaluate that when you find a particular answer that this is going to be a good answer? Like, I want to keep following this link, or when you see the top 10 answers, like, how do you look through those to determine which one of those best answers the kind of information that you're looking for? I remember being in one interview where the person's like, hey, do you mind if I look up some documentation? And I said, no problem. And I turned around and I like grabbed a water bottle and I was like taking a drink. And when I turned back around, they were on Stack Overflow looking up the answer to the question that I just asked them. And I'm like, what are you doing on Stack Overflow? Like, you said you were going to go look up documentation. And they're like, well, I just wanted to see if I could like get a hint or something. I'm like, okay, well, the interview's over. Like, I need to know that you know how to go solve that problem and not just go look up how somebody else answered that problem. Like, I needed to know that that person had enough critical thinking to go solve a thing. And if you tell them that you're going to go look up documentation, like especially in a remote scenario where maybe I can't see what you're doing, I'm going to be asking you to verbalize as much as possible. Like, hey, tell me what link you're going to. What web page are you on? How do you know that that's the best web page to be on to solve this question or to answer that question? Like, I want to hear that process because as an interviewer, I think that that's more important than just, can I go look up the answer? Is do you have a good process to actually go find that answer? Or are you just going to go like Google and you're just going to click on the first link and assume that that's going to be the correct answer? I want to know that you've got good evaluation skills when you see, Google results or Stack Overflow results, that you have a good understanding of how to determine whether those actually answer your question or not. So no, docs do not equal Stack Overflow for sure. Likewise, I think an interviewer should also strive to be honest. Yeah, absolutely. I think there needs to be honesty on both sides. If you don't have that, then kind of what's the point? I think that you can do a lot of disservice to both the interview candidate as well as in the interview itself when there's not good honesty coming by on either side. And that plays a lot of sort of different roles and plays out in a lot of different ways. But yeah, I believe that honesty is important because you're going to be working with these people on like a full-time basis, and you're spending 8 to 9 hours a day working with these people. You have to trust that they know what they're doing. They have to trust that you know what you're doing, and that's part of the whole interview, is that we're all evaluating each other. You're there to evaluate them every bit as much as they're evaluating you, and if you get a vibe from them of like, I don't know that they were like really being like genuine with me, or they weren't treating me well as a candidate, then maybe that's not a company that you want to work at. Now, it is possible that it's just that interviewer, in which case I think it's important that as a candidate that you also give feedback to the company to say like, hey, I really enjoyed that interview experience with so and so. I had a really good time chatting with them, and we chatted about this and that, and we had really good rapport, and they were really pleasant, and I appreciate that they were part of the interview process. I think companies would love to hear that. I don't think enough companies would get enough feedback about their interviewers to hear like, hey, I really enjoyed chatting with that person. I think that they would really appreciate that because it'll also help them understand who their best interviewers are and know like, hey, when so and so interviews people, like we don't get that kind of feedback, but when so and so interviews people, we get all kinds of like positive feedback from people that they really enjoyed it. So maybe we'll have that person do more interviews over time. Um, I think those kinds of things really help companies out at the same time. So, what about the name of methods? For example, how to add a class to an HTML element. And if you don't remember, it was class list.add or class.add. So that's more like how to add a class to an HTML element using JavaScript or something like that. Do you understand how to add those things? Those are more trivia kinds of things, and I would say most companies aren't going to explicitly ask those kinds of trivia questions. They're just going to be asking like, hey, go write some JavaScript that adds this class, and they just want to know that you can go do the thing. And if you forget, like, is it class.add or class list.add, like, I need to go look that up every time. But if it's something that you've done recently enough, they're hoping that your recall memory is going to be good enough to go, oh, you know what, I just did that like a week ago, so I know it's class list.add. And I think that's part of the demonstration of the skill portion of the interview, of just knowing like, oh, this is something I've done recently versus this is something that I've read about. And this is also why it's important in an interview to say, this is something I have direct hands-on experience with versus this is something that I've read about and I know to do this way, but it's not something I've actually done in a project. I think that that's also important from that perspective as well. Again, every company's a little bit different. Some companies will grill you and ask about those kinds of trivia things, but I don't think that makes for a good interview. I think a good interview is where it feels very conversational, where you can say, tell me what you know about this or that, and you get that information from them. I think that's a much better sort of conversation to have as opposed to just the interrogation of, let me ask you a question, give me an answer, let me ask you another question, get an answer, let me ask you another question, get an answer, because those are tiring for everybody. While you're answering, they're trying to scramble and write down notes. And so it's not a great experience for them as the interviewer either. So yeah, there are a lot of things that are sort of quote unquote wrong with our interview process, and there are ways to make it better. And I think not enough companies spend time researching like what could make our interview process actually better. Like how could we actually make this a better process for everybody involved, for our interviewers and our interview candidates? Like how can we do all of this better so that, we actually spend time asking about the things that we really should be asking about, and less worried about the kinds of things that aren't as important in the grand scheme of things. How do you determine if a triangle is isosceles? I mean, that's a ridiculous question to ask a programmer. Like, I would be asking them like, how is this actually going to help on the job? Like, is this part of, something that I need to analyze as part of my job? Like, if it's a part of the job, like if you're doing like, machine learning or image analysis or something like that, where you need to be able to, examine the picture of a triangle to determine if it's isosceles, and that is part of the role, then yes, you should be practiced on that kind of thing. That's what the interview is all about. Is this skill is needed on the job, so show us or tell us how you would determine, whether a triangle is isosceles or not. But if it's just some weird trivia icebreaker thing, I mean, that's kind of a ridiculous question to ask in a software kind of role. Some interviewer loves that others get irritated. Yeah. And that's just a signal that they're not a good interviewer and they shouldn't be interviewing people. My camera froze 1 second. Better. Nope. There we go. Nope. Also not. All right. Camera's decided that now is a good time to stop working. Let me try and fix my camera here real quick. Sorry about that, everybody. Still dealing with all kinds of hardware issues. I got asked by my interviewer about my current salary. So they don't need to know your current salary. It's not important to them. You can just say, I'm not willing to disclose my current salary. I'm willing to discuss what my skills are worth and what I'd like to be making at this job. But companies should not be taking your previous salary history into account. In some regions in the United States, it's actually illegal for them to ask that question. See Films, good to see you as well. So yeah, you can divert that question entirely. Henulek, you can tell them like, you know what, it's not important that you understand what my current salary is. I know that for this role, you're offering this amount of money, or if they haven't yet told you, I would ask them, what are you offering for this role? This is what I'd like to be making in this role, but your previous salary should not play a role in that whatsoever. You should not have to divulge that information. It's not important to them as part of the interview process. Can't I get my camera working again? If this one will work. That one looks better. I can turn that one on. There we go. I got all kinds of weird software issues on this machine. Looking forward to just wiping this machine and starting over. But we'll see how long that's going to take. Is it worth going forward in the process, or what's your expected salary? Yeah, exactly. So I would like, as a company, they're probably asking you that question because they want to gauge how much you're making so that they can make your next salary, some amount on top of that. But it's not important for them to know that. What's important is that you understand your value to the company, and you understand your value in the industry to say, my skills are worth this much money, and so that's what I want to be making at this next role. And so when they straight up ask, what's your current salary? You can say, I'm not willing to share that, but this is the amount of salary I'd like to be making in my next role based on cost of living, cost on it, based on inflation, based on my skills in the industry. This is what I expect to be making at my next role because of this history that I have, and the skills that I bring to the team, and the kinds of experiences that I have, and the kinds of projects that I've been building. I know that my skills are worth this much money, so that's what I'd like to be making at the next role. And you can completely defer it. So I would literally start by just giving them a quick blurb, like I'm not willing to share that information, but, and then give them like a minute or two about your expectations for this next role, and again, just reiterating the value that you bring to them as far as your background, your experience, the kinds of projects that you've worked on, and why your expectation of that next salary is this range of money. And you don't have to answer that question. And you can just say, you know what, I'm not comfortable answering that question because it's not applicable to this next role. I just want to be making this much money in the next role, and here's why. Excuse me for 1 sec. I need to mute. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. All right. So yeah, I think you can literally just defer that. Cool. We got about 20 people in chat, so thanks for dropping by. Let's do a quick look up on our giveaway stats here. We got 8 entries, so there's a whole bunch of people in chat that have not entered the giveaway. So definitely get in on the giveaway. We've got lots of these cool little kit cards that we're giving away, and you'll get a handful of these. We've got Star Wars, Star Trek, we've got holiday themed ones, and we've got toy based things, and they basically just build into little 3D models. Working through the Deep Space Nine. I need to print this one a little bit bigger. At this size, it's actually really tricky to get some parts in this little cross section in here in the middle. But the other ones actually fit together really, really well. So we got old style Starship Enterprise. We got a newer style Starship Enterprise. I'm going to put this one together next. And so, yeah, get in on the giveaway. I'll give everybody another moment to do ! giveaway in chat. And then every entry that you can buy a stream and you do the entries will get you an entry into the monthly giveaway. The monthly giveaway is going to happen November 1st, and we're going to give away some fun stuff there. So get in on that giveaway, and keep asking questions. I'm happy to keep taking questions in chat for a little bit, and then I do need to go for the day. I got a handful of errands to do and things like that. So get in on the giveaway, ! giveaway. I'll give you another minute or two to do that, and then we're going to do the drawing. And then we'll see who else is out streaming today. We'll go find somebody that we can go raid. So get on that giveaway. We'll do the giveaway here very, very shortly. So again, just going to give you another minute or so to get in there. And how does this one go together? I've been doing more coffee chats lately. Oh, that's cool. See films. Doing networking is definitely going to help. It will generally help you get a job much faster than just sending resumes out there. Sending resumes out is it is helpful, but it is a numbers game. And I think that you're going to find more success just networking with people. And if you would like me to do introductions, then we can do intros. Here's a link that you can follow, and this will basically give you some information on how to use my LinkedIn network to help find you some introductions. So if you'd like me to do some introductions for you on LinkedIn, you can absolutely take me up on this. You can follow the instructions in that link, and I'd be happy to make some intros for you. Anulak asked, what about writing directly to CTOs and HR? So if the company is big enough that they have a CTO, they are not generally in charge of who gets hired on the team. That would be a VP of engineering. And understanding the difference of their roles is important. You can reach out directly to HR recruiters. Generally, the advice I give is you want to find 4 people at a company that you reach out to. One is going to be a peer level engineer. And so if you're an entry level dev, you want to find another entry level dev. Or find somebody who is relatively new, like a relatively new hire at the company, because you want to find out what their onboarding experience is like. The next person that you want to reach out to is a more senior level developer or senior level in whatever role you're applying to at that company than yourself. So if you're an entry level dev, you want to find an intermediate or a senior level dev. If you are a senior level dev, try to find like a staff or a principal level person. And you want to talk to them about, what mentorship is going to be like, what your growth opportunities are going to be like, what kinds of projects and involvement you're going to have within the company. Those are going to be important questions to ask them. The third person you're going to reach out to is the hiring manager. And it can literally be any kind of manager in whatever department you're applying to. So if you're applying for a programming job, find a software engineering manager. If you're doing, say, DevOps, then you'll find a DevOps manager. And you want to ask them questions about similar questions that you ask the engineers, like the peer engineer and the more senior engineer. You want to talk to them about what's it like to onboard, what's it going to be like to actually interview at your company. You want to find out all those kinds of details. If you don't find out those details, it's going to make it a little trickier. It's not impossible to go interview there, but you want to build up those relationships as early as you can with people in the company. And then from there, I would reach out to a recruiter in HR. Now, if the company is small enough that they don't have all those individual roles, then that's okay too. I think you can still find some people that you can reach out to. The other benefit to reaching out to a number of people is you're more likely to get somebody to respond, because not everybody's going to respond to cold emails or cold connections on LinkedIn. But that's also why I'm willing to make introductions for people. So if I know people at that company and I can sort of make a warm introduction to say, hey, this person has been part of my live stream community for a while, and they're looking to get to know somebody at your company and they would like to chat with somebody there. They have some specific questions in mind. If you have a minute to connect, I would appreciate it. That's basically the intro message that I make to folks. And then from there, it's up to you to say, hey, I've got like 2 questions I'd like to ask. If you've got time for a connection. And then you basically just make a LinkedIn connection request to them. And if they accept your connection request, then you want to send them those questions ahead of time and say, I would love to get on a phone call and chat about these things. Or if you would like to, answer these asynchronously, like I'm okay with that too. I think it's important that you give people the opportunity and the choice of how they want to connect. Versus just saying like, hey, I want to get on a Zoom call, because not everybody's going to be available for a Zoom call all the time. But saying like, hey, I want to be able to like get these questions answered. So whether you've got time for a phone call or if you've got time for just to answer these asynchronously, I'd appreciate your time either way. I think people will really, really appreciate that you're giving them the flexibility of how you want to communicate with them. And I think it's just a good professional courtesy that you respect their time. So yeah, coffee chats, absolutely helpful, absolutely going to be beneficial. Cool. Well, we dropped some viewers, so I'm going to go ahead and do the giveaway for the day. Giveaway daily. We got a handful of folks in here, so let me go pull up my giveaway list over here. All right, so we got a handful of folks, so I'm going to go ahead and do the drawing. You will need to be in chat. Of course, now is the perfect time for my camera to freeze. So that real quick. How to find a good mentor as a developer. If you want to achieve a goal, find someone who's already achieved it. I think that is good advice. I think it is important to find people. There we go. I think it's important to find people that you can get mentorship from, but sometimes can be tricky to actually find the actual mentor. And so that's a great question to ask. I would say the number one thing there is like reaching out to different people at different companies and just say like, hey, I'm trying to build up my network. I'm trying to meet people in tech that can help me with such and such. I think that those are important skills to have just in general. And even once you find a job, like once you've already got the job, I think it's also equally important to say, hey, I need to get continued mentorship outside of the company and not just a mentor within the company. Because again, if you only get mentored by people within the company, yes, you're going to learn their way of doing things and you're going to learn how they want you to do things. but it's also going to give you a bit of tunnel vision, and you're going to think that's the only way to do things. And so I think it's also equally important to be able to take a step back and go, you know what, I want to find out how to do those things, but from a slightly different perspective. Um, and I want to be able to find how someone else did a thing. So I think that that's also really important too, is understanding when is it time to find a mentor, but also having a mentor outside of the business where you work. I think that those are going to be good. Finding the right kind of people to get mentorship from can also be tricky. Making sure that you're finding somebody that you trust, that you can ask questions to, that isn't going to be like condescending and things like that, can be important as well. And that's easier said than done sometimes. Um, excuse me for a sec. I need to go get a tool real quick. And I'm back. So yeah, it's important that you can find mentorship, but also that you can find good mentorship. So how do you find a good mentor versus just I want to find anybody that will chat with me about topics? Because you can just go find anybody to help you learn a thing, but you have to be able to trust that they're giving you good information. Because if they're not giving you good advice, then what's the point? So I think that would be an important thing to be able to consider there. Yeah, definitely. So Fool Snable or points out something good, like ask them if they've been a mentor before. I would say also being involved in various developer communities, I think, is a good way to find people. Like if you find people that are helpful and they're helping other people learn things, ask them directly and just say like, hey, I see that you're giving out this really helpful advice, and I appreciate the time that you're spending helping build out the community. I'm actually looking for someone that can mentor on an occasional basis. Is that something you'd be interested in doing? You have to be careful though, because not everybody wants to be like a one-on-one mentor. Um, for example, I would, like me personally, I would rather do things on a group basis, and that's why I live stream, because I would rather answer the same question for 10, 20, 30 people at a time, as opposed to answering the same question over and over and over and over to, different people. And so when I do mentorship, um, and when I work with code schools and so on, code schools ask me like, hey, would you be willing to do some mentorship or help with career development advice and whatever? I always tell them like, yeah, I'm absolutely willing to help on a group basis, but not on an individual basis. Part of that is a boundary that I set for myself around, I want to make sure that I'm protecting my time, but also just to let the schools know, like, I absolutely want to be a mentor. I absolutely want to help people learn and grow, but I would rather answer the question once for a team of people instead of answering the question over and over and over again. Um, so I think being able to set those boundaries is important, and being able to hold to those boundaries, I think, is important. And also important that those places are going to respect those boundaries for you, and that people that are asking for mentorship are also going to be respectful of those boundaries. Like I've had people in the past like reach out and be like, hey, can you like mentor me and whatever? And I'll tell them like, hey, you know what? I do this live stream thing. Like you're welcome to come by anytime and I will answer as many questions as you have. But I want to do it in public, partly for the accountability, but partly also because if you're asking me that question, someone else has got that same question. I would rather answer that question one time. So it's not that I'm against doing one-on-one mentorship, because I've certainly done plenty of that in the past. I just want to do it on a bigger scale where I know it's helping multiple people. I think it's just a kind of a better way of sort of disseminating knowledge and so on. There's the new style enterprise. Needed to go find a little file to get in and clean up some parts. So this is the kind of thing that we're going to be giving away. So I'm going to do that giveaway like right now. If you're hanging out in chat and you want a little 3D printed thing of some kind, like got land speeders and X-wings and Millennium Falcons and things like that from Star Wars. I've got lots of things from Star Trek. I've got holiday kit cards, and I've got like all kinds of little toys, like these little interlocking blocks that you put a puzzle together, all the way to like catapults and stuff like that to make like a 3D printed catapult. And this whole thing is 3D printed. All the springs inside here are all 3D printed. So we're going to do the giveaway really soon. So if you're watching the stream right now and you want to get in on that giveaway right now, exclamation point giveaway in chat, or as we call it in programming, the exclamation point, we call it a bang. So you can do bang giveaway. Do that in chat right now. And we're going to do the drawing here. I'm watching the clock. I'm going to do it at 40 minutes past the hour. So you have 90 seconds to get in, and then I'm going to do the giveaway. And if you're curious whether you've already got an entry, you can just do bang giveaway anyway. Everybody only gets one entry for the day, but every entry gives you an entry into the monthly giveaway. And that monthly giveaway, we've got Mr. Deadpool here. Let me go back over to this one. So this is a 3D printed Deadpool that I'm going to be giving away. And this is all filament. There's no paint anywhere on this. This is all different colors of filament straight off the printer, as is. I did a little bit of cleanup. I hit it with a heat gun just to melt off some of the little threads and stuff, but this is all 3D printed filament. It's about a pound of filament. So we're going to be giving this away. I've got a Lego kit that I want to give away. Maybe one other giveaway if we get enough interest. I want to do another big giveaway as well. So get in on those giveaways. Exclamation point giveaway. And we're going to do that drawing in about 30 seconds. Feisty Kitty, good to see you. Make sure you get in on the giveaway as well, Feisty. If you did. All right, cool. Well, we are going to do the drawing. So here we go. And Jay Brinker. Jay Brinker, you have been chosen. Are you still hanging around in chat? But Jay Brinker, if you're here, you need to be in chat. It is you. Hooray. Congrats. Cool. Jay Brinker, you are the recipient of today's giveaway. I don't know. Have you gotten anything from any of the giveaways in the past? I don't think so. So I don't have any. Oh, you did actually. You got the catapult. You got the dark sparkle blue catapult. So now you'll have the choice of another giveaway gift of some kind. So we've got Star Wars, Star Trek, Holiday, or you can get another catapult if you like. So that'll be your choice. So I've still got your address. As soon as this giveaway is over at the end of the month, I'm erasing all this stuff. So I've already got all your details. You just have to let me know, Jay Brinker, what kind of gift you would like. How do you enter the giveaway? You can do exclamation point giveaway. It's right up here above me. Exclamation point giveaway to get in on the giveaway. You want the holiday one? All right, sounds good. And then I'll do another giveaway. If anybody else wants to get in on it at the very last second, I'll do one more drawing right now. Yeah, and you do have to follow the channel to enter the giveaway. And that's just so that you can get notification when I go live. So every time I go live in the month of October, you can come by and you can do bang giveaway. That's going to give you an entry into the daily giveaway. But every entry in the daily giveaway is going to give you an entry into the monthly giveaway where we're giving away Mr. Deadpool. I've also got a Lego kit that I'm going to order, and I will ship to you from there. And again, I'll give you the choice of theme of what you would like from Lego.com, and I will order that and send that in your direction. And again, with the frozen camera, what's going on with the camera? So yeah, so thanks for the follow. So muckety muck, if you want to do exclamation point giveaway, I will do another giveaway drawing right now. So it'll tell you like, hey, like the daily giveaway thing has already been selected, but do bang giveaway, and yep, there you go. And that will give you an entry into today's giveaway. It'll also give you an entry towards the monthly giveaway. And every time I stream, come by and do bang giveaway in the month of October. And November 1st, we'll be doing the giveaway of the really big giveaway gifts. All right, so if there's anybody else in chat, this is your last chance. I'm going to do one more giveaway. And so once you let me know what you like, I will get these printed and sent off this week. I'll probably send them out Saturday. I think I've got one more thing that I want to mail out maybe tomorrow. I think I've got one more thing that I need to mail out tomorrow, and then aside from that, because I'm going to be out a big portion of the week, I'll either get these last things mailed out Friday, probably Saturday, and then they only take like 3 or 4 days if you're in the United States. They only take a few days to arrive. So you got your trek items, awesome. Good deal, good deal. If you're on Twitter, tweet at me and send me some pictures. I'd love to see them assembled and so on. I also made a really big 3D printed dragon. It's a stationary model. And I sent that over to Babe Ross. Babe Ross said that she was interested in painting that on her stream. She had never painted a 3D model before. She does a lot of abstract painting. I've got this abstract painting up here on the wall. I got another one on a wall over here. And they look fantastic. I really, really like her artwork. So if you want to go follow Babe Ross, we'll give a shout out here. Shout out to Babe Ross. So you can go check out Babe Ross. Babe Ross is a really, really, really fun streamer. She's very interactive and very kind individual. She does like Instagram reviews of artwork, and she does a lot of art herself on the stream. And she's applying for Twitch partnership or Twitch partner as well. And this camera thing freezing up is driving me bonkers. So I think it's a good time to wrap up for the day. And yeah, I'm gonna wipe my system. I'm gonna like reinstall the stuff, and hopefully that's gonna fix it. We'll see how that goes. Cool. I'm gonna do one last giveaway. So we'll do one more giveaway for the day. Giveaway daily. And for some reason the drum roll didn't play before. Let's try this again. See if we can get that working. There we go. Whoa, that was very loud. Muckety muck. Perfect timing. So you got in that giveaway and you have been selected as a giveaway recipient. So muckety muck, what I need you to do is let me know one of four things: Star Wars, Star Trek, holiday theme, or toy. And the holiday theme, I've got like 3D printed snowflakes, and I've got like these little like Christmas tree holiday trees that you can kind of fit together into a pattern. Or we've got like the Star Trek models, and again, they're going to show up on a little kit cart that looks like this, depending on which one you want. and I'll be printing some of the Star Wars ones a little bit bigger. But I've also got lots of Star Wars based things. So this is a land speeder that I did in this multi-metal, silky metal kind of thing. So I'm going to assemble this one because this one looks really, really cool in that filament. But I got plenty of this filament if you want this. I got lots of grays and silvers to do like Millennium Falcons or X-Wings, TIE Fighters and things like that, TIE Interceptors, lots of cool Star Wars models. Got a handful of Star Trek models. But Muckety Muck, let me know that you're still in chat, and you're going to need to let me know which of those models you would like. So Star Wars, Star Trek, holiday, or toy. And again, the toy ones, we basically have like these little pieces that fit together to make like a 3D shape. Or I've got like this catapult kit that I can put together. Things like that I will put together. I've also got like these infinite fidget cubes. Where I'll just send you the blocks, or I'll probably pre-assemble it if you want. But you know, these things just infinitely fold, and you'll have some choice of color of the block and as well as the hinges. I can do these in a lot of different colors as well, and so these just infinitely fold. Again, these aren't really suitable for like little kids. If your kid's like older than 5 or 6, and they're not gonna like try to break the thing apart, then it'll be really sturdy. For these other kit cars, I don't recommend these for little kids at all, just because there's little parts and stuff on there. Rosha 2, good to see you in chat. Thanks for dropping by. So Muckety Muck, you need to let me know which of those giveaways you would like, and then I will ask you to whisper me some details. So Muckety Muck, if you're there, let me know. I'm going to give you like another 30 seconds to respond in chat. If I don't hear from you, I'm going to draw another person. So Muckety Muck was there. So Muckety Muck, let me know that you're still in chat, and we need to have a conversation about which giveaway prize you would like. Otherwise, I need to redraw. Muckety Muck, if you can hear my voice, come back to the stream. So Muckety Muck is not here. I'll give you about another 15 seconds to respond, then we're going to redraw. Yeah, they just entered. They just entered and they got selected as the recipient. So we're going to go ahead and redraw. Prosha2, if you want to get in on the giveaway, you can, because I'm about to do a redraw. So do exclamation point giveaway, and you can get in the giveaway. Even if I've already done the drawing, you can always come back and do bang giveaway and get in on that monthly giveaway. We're giving away Deadpool. This is a 3D printed bust of Deadpool. It's all printed. There's no paint anywhere on this. But you're welcome to paint it. Like you can do some really cool like aging techniques and things like that to make it look aged. But if you want to get in on the giveaway, you do need to be a follower of the channel. So just do a quick follow, and that's mostly for the notifications. So when I go live, you can come back and do bang giveaway again. Every entry throughout the month of October is going to give you an entry to the monthly giveaway where we give away Deadpool and a Lego kit. Yeah, we didn't hear from Muckety Muck. Muckety Muck, last chance. I'm going to give you 5 seconds. Let me know in chat that you're still there. And then I'm going to redraw. All right, we're going to redraw. So no sign from Muckety Muck, so we will do another drawing for the giveaway. All right, so drum roll again. And I've got the drum roll working. Henulak, hey, congrats. So over in Poland, as I recall, from what you said in chat. So let me know Star Wars, Star Trek, holiday, or toy. And so let me know, Henulak, if you're still in chat, and let me know which of those four you'd like. How can I get better at Python? That's a good question. There are a lot of good tutorials out there. It depends on what you're doing in Python. If you're doing web development, if you're doing machine learning or data science, if you're doing data analysis, there are going to be lots of things that you can go learn and follow as far as curriculum goes. I heard from a few people that project-based learning is the best way. I agree. And having those projects is a really good way to sort of promote your skills on a resume or a CV if you're applying for a job. So having a project that you can show is going to be really important. Henulak, if you're still in chat, you got to let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to redraw yet again. And Prosha2, if you want to get in on the giveaway, you need to follow the channel and do bang giveaway. And that'll get you in if I have to do another redraw. So we're going to give Henulak like another minute to respond, and then we'll move on. So yeah, project-based learning is a good way to do this. Let me fix my camera yet again. There we go. Wait, it worked over there, but it didn't work over there. There we go. So project-based learning is really good, but knowing what kind of project to build is also going to be important to stand out for a particular kind of job that you're doing. You're just starting at it, and I found really cool books. So books are good to follow. Books are going to tell you a lot of best practices. They're not necessarily going to tell you what projects to go build. So I think it's also important to have a good understanding of like what kind of project do I even want to go build. So I would say for those kinds of questions around like what do I build, again, it will depend on what you want to do with Python. If you want to do web development, if you want to do data science, data analysis, machine learning, or just like DevOps and system level programming, there's lots of things that you can do with Python. So it's a fantastic general purpose language. I'm a little biased though because I love Python. I do a lot of work in Python myself. But I think it will depend a little bit on what you want to do with it and what your expectations are. Having good curriculum. Camera. Oh yeah. Camera is really taking me off. Having good curriculum to follow, I think, is going to be the most important. So understanding, like having a good curriculum that somebody has written that says do this and then do this and then do this. Like having a project that you can follow start to finish, I think is good. Having a walkthrough tutorial, I think, is going to be really beneficial, especially when you're still learning something. Chugakey1, thanks for the follow. Appreciate that. If you want to get on the giveaway, feel free to do that. So bang giveaway. I'm going to do another giveaway. We never heard back from Henulak either. So I'm going to do a redraw. So you can still do exclamation point giveaway in chat and get in on the giveaway. And we will do another giveaway here in a moment. So I would say have it like project-based learning is a great way to learn. Absolutely. I agree with that. But knowing what kind of project to go build to stand out is going to be important as well. For example, if you want to be a web developer, then you need to have a web project of some kind. If you want to do data analysis, then you need a data analysis project of some kind. You don't want to have a project on your resume or on your CV that's unrelated to the kind of work that you want to get, because your resume needs to show them, I can do the job that you want me to do at this particular role at this particular company. You have to be able to show them that you can do that job in order to get that job. If you have some other kind of project on there, they're gonna look at that and go, well, you say you want to be a web developer, but all of your projects are data analysis, or you want to do data analysis, but the projects on your resume are web related. You have to be able to have enough diversity in your project portfolio to show them the kind of work that you want to be doing, to show that you're relevant for that particular job. So I think it's important that you have some diversity in your projects, but also knowing what you want to do with Python is also going to be important. So all those things awake my interest. They're all cool stuff. Yes, but you also have to have some direction in your career. Like, you also have to be able to say, this is where I'm taking my career. This is what I want to do with my career. If you just say, I want to go learn all the things, then if you've already got a job and you're not looking for a new job in tech, then that's fine. You can go learn whatever you want to learn, and you can learn as much of it as you want or need. But if you're looking for a particular kind of job, and you're looking for a job now, then I think it's also important that you say, like, this is the kind of work that this is a job where I want to apply for work, and these are the skills that they need. Let me go learn those skills. I think that that's an important sort of growth opportunity there as well. And because spending time to say, I want to go learn 10 different things about Python, but I want to go apply for this job where I only need one of those 10 things, well, then why go learn the other 9? If you're just trying to get that job, go learn that one skill that you need at that one job and be really, really good at that skill. And then you're more like, you're going to stand out more to that company than somebody who, has like a really rich, diverse kind of background in learning all of those different things, where it's not as beneficial to the company that you've just spent all that time learning all those things. So I think it's important to understand what you want to learn and why, and not just, I want to go learn for the sake of learning. I think that that's admirable. There's nothing wrong with that. But from a company's perspective, you're going to stand out more if you have a good understanding of the technologies that they use and why you've learned that particular technology. So if you want to get into data analysis and you find a job in data analysis that you really want to apply for, great. Go learn what you need for that data analysis job and go get that job. And then once you have that job, now you've got the freedom to go explore other things. But I think spending time learning, like, oh, I also want to do web development, I also want to do machine learning, and I also want to do this and that, it's going to detract from learning the things that you need to go get that data analysis job in the first place. So I would recommend learn fewer things and learn them better in order to go get that job. All right, well, last chance, do exclamation point giveaway. So we had a couple of new people follow, so appreciate the follows. But since you're following, do exclamation point giveaway. I'm going to do another giveaway right now. This will be the last one for the day. If that person doesn't respond, then we're just going to call it for the day. So do bang giveaway, get in on that giveaway, and then we will call it for the day. We'll go find somebody to go raid. So yeah, get in on that right now. If you were in chat, feel free to do exclamation point giveaway. Yep, Fool's got the right idea. Web security and software development. So again, those are two really big things. So do you want to get into web security or do you want to get into web development? It's not that they're incompatible, but you need to decide which of those things you want to go learn. You have to really focus, especially when you're brand new. If you're new in tech and you're new and you want to get into the tech industry and you want to learn programming, then you need to focus your effort on fewer areas. And so in this case, like, I would learn software development and then go read up about like the OWASP top 10, like what are the most common security vulnerabilities, and figure out how you can build that into the software development that you do. But to become proficient at web security and as a software developer, those are two very distinct areas. And again, you're going to divert your attention from trying to get a single job. So you're going to get a job in web security, or you're going to get a job as a developer. There are fewer jobs that combine both of those, and you need to be really proficient at both of those in order to go get a job doing both of those. So again, my recommendation is learn fewer things and learn it really well. Cool. We got our last giveaways in. So Proscia 2, like, do bang giveaway if you want to get in on that giveaway. I am sending these things around the world if you're not already in the giveaway. And then I'm going to go do that drawing right now. So Proscia 2, I'll give you one more moment to do that in chat. And then we'll do the giveaway. So there we go. All right, so let's go do that giveaway. So giveaway daily. All right, so imagine there's a drum roll sound happening here. There's a dice roll. Hey Dota 2, good to see you. Feisty Kitty, if you are still hanging around in chat. And oh, you are in chat. All right, awesome. So Feisty, so a couple things that you need to tell me, Feisty, is which kit card you would like. So again, I've got Star Wars, Star Trek, holiday or toy, and then it's not rigged, not a bit. Star Trek for sure. Oh, wow, so many of you want Star Trek. That's okay. I still love y'all. All right, so Feisty, what I need from you, send me a whisper on Twitch, because I don't think you've won any of my other giveaways. If you have, then give me. But I do have one other set of Star Trek things to print and send out. Hey, Rohomo, good to see you as well. So if you're just stopping by and you missed out on the giveaway, do bang giveaway, and that'll get you at least the entry for the monthly giveaway. I'll go fix the camera for the 15th time today. Feisty, I need your name, your email address, your shipping address, and nothing else. So just your name, your mailing address, and your shipping address. Your name, your shipping address, and your email address. Sorry. And the email address is just so I can send you tracking info. Or I can just send you the tracking info back on Twitch Whisper. If you don't want to give me your email, that's fine. But I do need your name and your address, and then I can send the tracking information to you over Twitch Whisper. Star Trek for sure. That was before Ian told you it was Star Trek Discovery. Now I've got Deep Space Nine, and I got a couple of Star Wars Enterprise. I'll see if I can find some other ones as well. And I'm going to print these a little bit bigger because this Deep Space Nine is proving a little troublesome to put together at this small. So I actually printed a much bigger one, and I sent them over to Subsector, and she showed them on her stream last night. At least the printed cards. She hasn't actually assembled them yet. So I'm going to be printing these a little bit bigger, and I'll get these out to you. I'm going to mail them probably Saturday because I've got to finish printing them, and then I'm out of town Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So again, I'm not streaming Thursday night. I'm going to try and stream tomorrow night just so we can get another giveaway in. I'll try and do a quick stream maybe on Friday, again, just to get some extra giveaway entries because we're winding down for the month. Also, if you want to donate to the Diversity and Tech fundraiser, I'd appreciate any help there. We do want to try to get to $1,500 by the end of the year, and I'm matching all the money that goes into that. So appreciate any help. If you want to donate, appreciate that. Any subs, any gift subs, any bits, any cheers, anything like that will go immediately into that pot, and then I'm matching all that money. So appreciate any help there. And I'm gonna go fix the camera one last time. I don't know why it's glitching so much. I don't know if it's overheating or what the deal is, but so any help on the giveaway would be fantastic. And aside from that, I think we'll go find somebody to raid. Speaking of Python, you got a Python developer that's streaming. Handful of Python folks streaming. Mayan Wolf just started streaming. I think we'll go right back into Mayan Wolf. Mayan Wolf raided into my channel the other day, so I think we'll go right over there. And go bug her that she needs to give me some more information so I can send off her giveaway gift as well. So I'm going to do that. Instead of fixing my camera, we're just going to go right into my... So we'll see you all over there. Thanks for dropping by today. Appreciate all of the questions and appreciate everybody hanging out. Appreciate all the entries into the giveaway. I'm looking forward to the final monthly giveaway where we give away these bigger prizes. So that's going to happen a week from Tuesday on November 1st. So November 1st is just going to be the monthly giveaway kind of thing. So appreciate everybody getting some entries in. Again, I'm going to get in some last minute streams just so people can get those monthly giveaways in. We'll go see you over on Claire's stream, and we'll catch everybody over there. Claire is part of 100 Devs, and they're doing some big O notation and practical algorithms, all good stuff to learn for interview skills. So we'll go catch you over there in her channel, and have a great week. Again, I'll try to stream tomorrow night, but I will not be streaming Thursday. So I'll try to stream tomorrow and then maybe Friday, and then I'll see you next Sunday as well. And we'll catch you next time. Cheers.